Welcome back. We're here with Anthony from My Last Farewell. Anthony, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. We met yesterday, or not yesterday, last week
Yeah,
at the Columbus Expo. We vibed. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
thanks for having me, Easton. I am excited, man. We're gonna have a good time real quick.
Yeah, yes, we are. We were vibing there, and I love your business model. It's something I've never seen before, actually. So very excited to dive deep into it. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So can you kind of explain for everyone that doesn't know what a will is and why it's important?
I will say this: I am not an attorney, but obviously, I think everyone knows a will is a statement that you leave behind, your final wishes, whether it's leaving behind whatever you want to leave behind, or explaining how you want your end to be. And so that's pretty much what a will is.
Yeah, I think it's always important because I feel like younger people like myself might not exactly know what it is. So I
You
think
know
it's
what?
important, like to kind of tell people what it is.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly right. Because your your audience is a little different from mine,
Yeah,
so that makes sense. Okay, so yes, first of all, it's very important to write a will, to get a will written, especially if you want to leave something behind, which is that's what my business is all about. Again, I'm not an attorney, but I do digital wills, and I know we're going to get into that. But it's literally a document that you will go to your attorney. Shoot, nowadays you can actually do it online. You
yeah,
can actually print off. The bottom line is extremely important for you to write down your final wishes and get them legally documented. The reason why is because if you have a business, if you have assets, if you have money, or anything like that, and you pass away, if you do not put them in a legal document, then the city will literally take it, and then your family won't get anything, period, but a bunch of bills, and that's it. Yeah.
yeah, perfect. And what is the advantage of getting a digital will created through you versus going that traditional route of just you know doing it on paper?
Good question. So you do have to. A digital will doesn't supersede a written will. So you have to have a written will to be legal in every state of America. So you go to your attorney or you go online. You get a will, get it notarized by an attorney, or by a person that does notary, and then you come to me and you record it on video. Now this is the great thing about this. Written wills are contested all day long. Okay, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what your culture is, where you're from. If somebody pops up out of the blue and says, "Hey, you didn't write. Mom didn't sign that. She wasn't in her right state of mind. Granddad didn't sign. It wasn't in the right state of mind." That's called contesting your final wishes. If someone does that, then your stuff is going to sit in probate. And when this happens, it literally destroys families. And some people will say, "Oh, well, my kids like each other right now." Yeah, that's right now. Until they get to a certain
Yeah,
age, and
yeah,
then you die, and then they start to act funny because people act funny with money.
yeah.
And so when you have a digital will, that means you read your already written will on camera. You have that. Now you have video evidence. So if someone tries to contest it, your family member pulls that video evidence, shows the judge or the attorney, and that kind of stops all that foolishness. Yeah.
So it sounds like you're kind of taking the role of bringing some clarity and calmness for when people do pass away, because as you said, it could be a very hectic time, and it usually is because there's a lot more that goes on when it comes to figuring things out, money and things that are involved.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it perfectly. I mean, yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. You need to do my commercial. It does. It brings absolute clarity. You cannot say that your parents didn't want it if you hear them saying it. Like you
Yeah.
see them saying it. They don't have a gun up to their head. They're in their right mind. They're showing competency. They're showing that they're clear minded and everything is everything. So yeah, it's very difficult to contest this. It brings a lot of clarity and security, right?
And mentioned this in the beginning, but this is an idea I've never heard of. When we met at the expo, it was a brand new thing to me and a brand new business model in general that I've heard of. And I've obviously talked to many different business owners. How did you come up with this idea?
So about 2017, um, my one of my mentors passed away. Went to his funeral, and I literally in my mind said, "I am not going to see him in the casket." Now we all deal with this. Everyone dies, so it's not even it's a part of life. That's what makes life so beautiful. There's a beginning, there's an end, and so he passed away. He was passed away of cancer, and I said to myself though, I don't want to see him like that. I want to remember him alive, full of life, and that's my guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I go to his funeral to say, give my condolences, my respect, and I walk around, which everybody does. We'll walk around, and my side eye, man, I caught a glimpse of him in the casket, and I was like, oh, I didn't want to do that. And I remember getting in the car with my wife, and I said, listen, when it's my time, just cremate me. Cremate me, play my music, because I'm also an artist. I got music out there, play my music, show my pictures, turn up, celebrate.
Yeah.
And I said, I should make that as a business. She said, you should. I get out of the car. I'm in this driveway. I get out of the car, go in the house, and I go to ohio.gov. I create a name, and I launch a year later. That's what it. Because my whole thing is like, one, I didn't just do it I wanted to do it for my family, right? I'm like, dude, this is an amazing concept because I feel that people deserve to be heard, right? To be seen and to do it in their own way, to say goodbye themselves. No one can say goodbye better than you can. So why don't you just say it? Yeah.
That's beautiful. And something else that you capture on top of the digital will piece is capturing people's legacy. Can you kind of talk about why capturing people's legacy is important for you?
Yeah. And that's really the my baby in this is the legacy piece, is the messages. The digital will part is easy. I mean, you get your real written and you read your written will on camera. Super easy. Now, let me back up. With the digital will piece, another reason why it's so important because wills are written for attorneys. They're not really written for the family members to understand. Okay. It's just straightforward. This is what you're getting. This is what's going on. So there's no real content behind it. There's no reasoning. And so, for instance, say I'm a multimillionaire and I want to leave a couple million to my nephew, Charlie, right? Well, his dad is mad because he's like, why didn't you leave it for me? Well, that dad can really, or the father can really explain and say, hey, the reason why I'm leaving it to this person is because he loves giving to the homeless. He loves doing these things. He loves doing that. So now you bring context to what's really going on. You can explain your heart. You can explain the reason why as you're going through, right? Going through your will. So that's another reason why having a digital will is extremely important because it brings closure, and it brings understanding. Now on the legacy side, leaving messages are just extremely important. Statistically, after 2 generations, we don't know anything about our family, right? Where we come from, our grandparents, our great grandparents. I just so happen to be blessed to have both of my grandparents on both sides and my great grandparents. So I knew a little bit, still not enough. But imagine if my great grandfather or my grandfather would have sat down and left a message for me. I learned a lot about him as I got older, but I love my grandfather. Man, when I was a kid, we would kick it hard. He did trading from Africa, the continent of Africa to here, beans and rice. He
Wow.
did construction over there. He was like a big time ambassador over there. Like he did a lot of things. Well, as a kid, I didn't know that was going on. I would go into his office and I see all these pictures, and all these things that he would do. But he'd be like, "Hey, grandson, let's go give out some food." He had a youth home or event or something like that where we're from. He's like, hey, grandson, let's go give out some food. Let's do this. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, hey, let's go work on this house. And I'm like, cool. And when I got older, he passed away when I was like 18 and 19 years old. But I think about it now, literally today, as we're having this conversation earlier, I was looking at his pictures and I was just like, man, what if he would have just sat down in front of a VCR tape, right? When we were kids, we had VHS. And he says, hey, grandson, this is what I do. Hey, grandson, when you get married and when you become an adult, this is how you treat your woman. This is how you take care of your kids. This is how you build a business. This is the legacy. This is the strength that we have. This is the God that we believe in, or I love you, grandson. Do right by just all these things, right? That empowers you. So it's extremely important for everyone to sit back, and you don't have to be on your deathbed. Matter of fact, we won't record you if you're on your deathbed because nobody wants to see you like that. Yeah. So I tell people all the time, people are like, well, do I have to be dying to do this? You're already dying. You're dying every day.
Yeah.
So it's never about death. It's about legacy. And legacy is about the impact that you have on other people, the impact that you want to leave behind, the inheritance that you give. I ain't talking about money. I ain't talking about assets. What do you believe in, right? What advice do you want to leave behind? What type of impact that can live on forever? If you pass away right now, who will remember you, and how would you want to be remembered? People think that, oh, I got tomorrow. No, you don't. We only guarantee them the time that we're on this podcast right now.
Yeah.
That's it. And this is just the reality of it. And so once we embrace this reality, that's why I tell people all the time, listen, this is a part of estate planning. This is a part of your retirement. This is a part of going out tomorrow because you really don't know. And if you have kids, just record something because you can update it anytime. Just say something.
It
Yeah,
seems like to me that you really want to capture the things that go unsaid.
absolutely.
The things that people the things that people after they pass away, their family members are like, "Wow, I wish I asked my grandfather this. I wish I asked my mother this. I wish I could hear my mom say I love you." You know,
Yeah,
those things that go unsaid that you want to make sure that they're cemented in history so people can hear them over and over again if they do please to.
right. Exactly. Hold up real quick. Hold up.
Yeah.
Exactly right. You're 100% correct. Again, you said it better than I can. But it is, man. It's so important, and I just want to let people know that you don't wait. I tell people, when it's too late, it's too late. People say, "Well, I'm not ready yet. I'm not on that way out yet." They're in their 80s. Stop it. Like, just record something. I don't care if you in your man. I have so many customers that are in 45 and on up. That's are literally on my clients, 45 on up,
Wow.
because people understand, especially when you have kids, or especially when something is going great in your life. We're in the age that we document so much stuff on our phone. We don't look at half of it. And if you pass away and no one has your code to your phone, if they don't have your thumbprint, because everybody thumbprints now, or iris and face, you can forget it. All your stuff is gone. So if you're on IG or you're on Facebook and stuff like that, they shut your stuff down unless you have legacy, which is now Facebook has a thing called legacy where you can pass on whatever else, certain pictures and photos or whatever else. But the bottom line, most people don't. Most people lose all their content, never look at the content. And so I think it's just really powerful when you are a parent or a child, whoever, that just sits down and says, I'm gonna take 5 minutes and I'm gonna record something powerful, something worth, leaving behind. Yeah.
And to kind of switch now to the personal side of things, what type of legacy do you want to leave?
Very impactful one. I have three daughters. My daughters are 28, 26, and 24. Okay. Actually, I'm going down this weekend to see them. And it's funny you asked that, man. I was literally just in this conversation with one of my business partners like an hour ago. And I want people just to know, one, that God is real. And every time I have conversations, my goal is to really just reflect, the love of God, man, the love of Christ, man. I want to let people know that you are loved even when you don't feel that you are not, and that you are important. Your story is important. It really is, man. I work with a lot of people, especially the older people, older crowd. They don't think that their story is important, who they are. It's really wild, right? And so I want people to remember me by the people that I've impacted in a positive way, um, and the opportunities that I've given to people to leave a message behind.
I think that's really important to touch on is a lot of people are lonely. A lot of people feel like they don't have anyone. And a lot of people, like you said, they feel like their story or their knowledge doesn't matter. But it's actually the opposite. Those little things or those pieces of knowledge that people actually have are the things that people want to know. They want to know the simple things that you know because to everything else, if you are a master at something or you even have a little bit of knowledge, everyone else looks at you like you are the master because
Hmm.
you have more knowledge than them. So even just sharing your knowledge or what you're passionate about is super important.
Right, right, 100%.
And you also mentioned God. What does God mean to you?
What do you mean?
What does the word God mean to you when you say I believe in God, just that whole concept of God, what do you like what does that mean?
Um, if I'm understanding your question, I'm gonna see if I can
Yeah,
answer
yeah.
it. uh, who God is to me, I guess I should answer it that way. Jesus is to me. He is my comforter. He's the one that guides me. We are all spiritual beings. And first, we are a body of consciousness, which meaning we all, our energies work off of each other. We all need each other. We all there for each other, right? One, especially with the ideas and the greatness that we have, we can't do it by ourselves. Biblically, it's been said that one will put 1,000 to flight, but two will put 10,000 to flight. So we double, we quadruple, you know what I mean, 1,000 times more our efforts when we come together. So we as human beings are important, but we are spirit first with a soul in a body, right? So we got the spirit, the soulless realm, which is our thoughts, our intellect, our emotions, everything, and we are inside of a body. Our spirits connect, right? Our ideas connect, and so with God, man, I'm telling you, like I would not be able to do anything that I'm doing without really being spiritually connected to Him. I serve Christ all day long. I'm a follower of Christ, real talk.
Yeah.
And I love this walk. I love His walk. And that's if it wasn't because of like I can tell you right now, if I have God, bro, I'd be nuts, like literally. And so I'm just because of that, He brings me so much peace, man. When I pray, He hears me, and it's really about my relationship with Him, with the Word itself, because He is the Word. And so when I'm reading the Bible, when I'm learning about the Word, it really helps me to guide my life, to guide my attitude, to always be, walk in gratitude, to always think about other people more than sometimes even myself, because that's where impact comes. But that's how you build a legacy, right? And so when we talk about legacy, what legacy are you building daily? Because it ain't about money,
Yeah.
right? You cannot die with your money. You cannot die with your house. You cannot die with your car. But what you can die with is the story of who you are, of how your words and your wisdom. And those are the things that need to be passed down, right? Because those are the things that make impacts. Money and stuff is a tool to make an impact, but it starts with
Yeah.
your heart. Where's your heart aligned at? You know what I mean? If you're an evil person, yeah, you're going to have impact, but it's going to be a negative impact, right? Someone said to me, they said, well, when you leave your job, are people happy that you left your job? Or they're like, man, I'm going to miss you. Well, the reason why they say they're going to miss you is because you had a positive impact in your community. Same thing with social media. When you're putting stuff out there in your social media, you are showing who you are, you're creating your legacy. And that stuff ain't going to never be erased. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, in a nutshell, yeah, that's what God.
I love it, man. And is there a Bible verse that really stood out to you that impacted your life?
Yes, be strong in the Lord and the power there in his all his might. Yeah, yeah. Be strong in the Lord. I just learned that he actually commands us to be courageous and bold. And he said those that are not courageous and bold will he don't like that. I'll say it like that. It's sin. It's a sinful thing when you don't walk courageously and you don't walk in boldness. Because he tells us at the same time is not to fear. And so if we are walking in fear, we're not walking in confidence in who we are and who he created us to be. You see what I'm saying? And he
Yeah.
created us to be strong. He created us to be mighty. He created us for all of these things. And he does not give us the spirit of fear. So it's opposite, right? And so he commands us to be courageous and bold. And so everything, I have a clothing line called God Strong. And everything is about really just being God strong. Knowing who you are and standing on your faith and standing on the word and not being afraid to speak up. I believe that a lot of believers, Christians, are in powerful positions and roles to speak up, and they don't. And it's a slap in the face of who God is, the King of all, the Creator of all. If He's giving you strength and the word to speak, then speak it. If you see wrong happening, speak right. You know what I mean? Speak love, speak right. And you can speak the truth and it's still gonna hurt, but speak it in love. You know what I mean? And so this all of the strength and the strong scriptures, from Ephesians to Joshua to there's a couple of them, a couple other ones. Hebrews is one talking about being strong. He says, don't be afraid and don't be in fear, like hundreds of times throughout the Bible. So, yeah.
So on that point, are You afraid of dying?
I am not. I haven't been afraid of dying in a very long time. Um, because I believe I know where I'm gonna go, right? And the bottom line is like we're not meant to stay here forever. It's transition. Um, in our culture, in the westernized culture, we're afraid of it. But a lot of that stuff, the fear is because of people want to make money off of fear, right? If you're scared, you think you're gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna buy this. So everything is rushing, right? I mean, look at it as even with our holidays. We're talking about Christmas now. There's Christmas trees up in the summer. Why in the world? Because they're rushing. Everything is rushing. I want you to buy. I want you to buy.
Yep.
Because just in case you don't get it, you got to get it now. And just in case it don't go on sale. It's all that fear driven. And so some of us are afraid of death because we don't think that there's an afterlife, and so we're holding on to this one based upon beliefs and stuff like that. Whatever you believe, but there is a life after death. Our body will die, but our spirit will not. It will live on. So where your spirit gonna go?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I haven't. I'm not afraid of death. You know what? I really think that a lot of people aren't afraid of death. They're afraid of the pain, how they're gonna die.
Yeah.
I think it's how. Right now, most of my people in my family, they die in their sleep. I've had a few people in my family die of cancer at old age. They live into their like 98 to 100, stuff like that. But I think most people are probably afraid of how they're going to die. They think it's going to be painful. I'm going to heaven with God, bro. I'm good.
And I would say also just the unknown. I think a lot of people,
Yeah.
and I think this relays into perfectly of what you were talking about of trust. If
Hmm.
you don't trust in yourself, if you don't trust in God or the universe or source, that everything's going to be okay, and you don't truly believe that, then you are going to be nervous and scared of the unknown.
Yeah.
If you do have that trust, the unknown is awesome because you know that you can handle whatever life throws at you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the purpose of, I have real conversations with God, man. And I'm like, God, uh, I serve you because I believe in your word. I believe in your word. I not only believe in your word, I've seen things come to pass where it only could be you, right? God literally surpasses the natural, and that's why we call it supernatural, because it surpasses the natural, and that's how you're like, man, God is real, man. Like, man, I remember going out in the ocean for the first time. I was on a cruise, and I was just like, oh yeah, that got to be a God. This is crazy. Like, when I went to I mean, just to look at nature, that's my point. Just to look at
Yeah,
nature, how massive everything is and how great everything is. It's like, man, this had to be designed by, someone greater. So just God himself, the word God, the creator of
yeah,
all. Um, but yeah, so going back, Bible verses.
love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the strong.
Two more questions for you.
Yeah.
If you could have dinner with two people, one person from the past and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
Jesus.
Why?
Yeah, Jesus. Just to be able to see where his mindset was, to I mean, obviously we have biblical and historical stories, but to really just dig into his mind,
Yeah,
um, and to see where his heart was, and to see how he really, I mean, they described how he felt about his enemies, but just to hear it from him, I think it would just be pretty dope. Here's the wild thing is that all those people that walked around him still didn't believe. Like you literally walking with the Savior, you really walking with the Creator in the flesh, and you still didn't believe. And I just think about the things that in our time right now when people are standing up doing what's right and people still don't believe. And it's right, the answer is right in your face. The answer is right in your hands and you still ain't getting it. And it's just, you know, a lot of the things that although we have technology, but the situations and the issues don't change. Our human nature,
yeah,
that things don't change. It's the same. You know what I mean? It's literally the same. It's just we have technology that just obviously, but we dress different. But our
yeah.
issues as human beings is still the same. When the answer is in front of your face, you still don't want to believe. But that's a different conversation. So the person that you said now,
You have the present.
uh, Hmm, that's a lot, but I'm gonna try to narrow it down. Uh, it's probably get me in trouble.
There's
Nah,
no
I ain't gonna
wrong.
say that. I ain't gonna say
There's no wrong answer. Yeah, come on, give it
that.
to us. What do we got? There's no wrong answers. Come on.
Well, I was gonna say Trump, but I don't think his conversations will be long and really in depth. So I would say Martin Luther King.
He's dead.
Oh yeah,
We
you did say you said now. Like they gotta be
yeah
living right now?
yeah.
Yeah, it would be Trump.
Okay. Why?
Um, he's gone through a lot. He's gone through a lot. He is and I want to know where he is spiritually. You can hear the fruit though. You know, you can hear the fruit and you can see the things that he's doing. Um, but I think it would just be a really interesting conversation. I mean, I've never seen, in our lifetime, we've never seen anything like it, probably anybody else's lifetime. The things that he's going up against to try his best to do the right thing for America and for Americans. And I think just his challenges are he getting fought a whole bunch, and I think um, people like the underdog. People like seeing people getting uh, coming from hell and high waters and still coming out on top. So I would just like to have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Whether I agree with everything he does or not, I don't know him. But I just think to see that as a president, as a person, because he's still a human being. Bottom line is, you know what I mean? He's still a soul. Um, Everybody needs Jesus, in my opinion. But yeah, I just think that would be a pretty dope conversation, in my opinion.
Love it. One more question for you.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to partner with us and offer the discounts?
Oh my gosh, dude! When we met, first of all, I'm like, this only makes sense.
Yeah.
It only makes sense. Like if you don't do it, I don't know why you wouldn't. Um, and so that's why it's because it makes sense. I'm a common sense guy. You name the other company that everybody knows about, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, like you guys are going to smash them. Like it's a no brainer.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's really no brainer, and it is. It's almost like a give back. It
Yeah.
really is a no brainer. When you told me about it, I was like, what? Hold up, is this real? This is heck yeah! I'm signing up today. Yeah, and so yeah, and again, like before we was talking, I recommended your company to one of my partners, and I know he said I'm gonna dig into it right now, and he did. He went right to it. He says this is it. And he looked on his phone. He said, "Man, this is." He said, "This is genius." I said, "I know. That's what I said. It just makes sense." Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you for the kind words, man. It was a vibe when we first met. As soon as you sat down, I'm like, this is gonna be a good 2 minutes for the speed networking. So I appreciate the kind words, man. I love the conversation. Those are the questions I have for you. How can people find you? And what is one thing you want to leave people with?
Yeah, people can find me at mylastfarewell.com. That's mylastfarewell.com, which is the name of my company. They can follow me on all the social media platforms under ML Farewell, just like My Last Farewell, but ML Farewell on all the social media platforms, and also call. I know the older generation still like to call,
Yeah,
and so you will get a live person on the phone to assist you, and that's 1-800-803-5749. 1-800-803-5749. Lastly, I like to leave it behind, especially how old are you, if you don't mind me asking? Is that okay?
25.
25. All right. So as a 25-year-old, you probably won't record video, and that's cool. Have your parents record, right? Have your parents record. I get it. At 25 years old, we think we're invincible, although people pass away all day long, but that's just what it is, right? So you have your parents record. Not only that, go to your grandparents. Say, hey, grandmother, granddad, you have an amazing story to tell. I want to hear it. I want to capture it. I want to capture it for my kids, or I just want to capture it for me from when I begin to miss you, because the bottom line is everybody is going to pass away
Yeah,
and you're going to miss your loved one. That's just what it is. And so make an impact, man, and just share. just share and sit down and tell your family members, hey, record something. Call my last farewell. And what we do, we actually we do a free consultation where we help you prepare the message, right? And it's literally just a message, like 10, 15 minutes. We do go to people's homes because you're based in Columbus, right?
Uh, uh,
Ohio.
Toledo,
Yeah.
Toledo. Yeah, yeah.
So you're
Ohio.
based in Ohio.
Yep.
So we come to your home and we record you. And we sit with you for about an hour and we record you. We keep these videos where they're safe, secure, never lost, never stolen, never compromised. And in the appropriate time, we release a video link to your friends and family and they can download them and continue to watch them forever. I literally tell all my clients, you can say whatever you want to say. It's your message. We do not edit these videos. We keep it. That's why it stays so very affordable. There's not a lot of companies that do what I do. There's very, very, very few that do what I do, but they don't do it like the way that we do it because we only focus on legacy videos and digital wills, which helps us keep our price down and some other things. But we do not edit these videos. We keep them very authentic, and we love what we do, and we help impact and change lives. So yeah,
I
reach
love it.
out, call us.
Well, Anthony, thank you for coming on the podcast, man. I appreciate it. It was great to dive into not only your business but your religious side. So thank you, man. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Those some good questions.
Thank you.